Fresh Anointing Show with Jay Richardson. Let's see what nuggets Jay has for us today on the Fresh Anointing Show. Let's listen in now with Jay Richardson. The Fresh Anointing Show. Top of the day to you and welcome to the Fresh Anointing Show. Thanks for joining us and being a part of the Fresh Anointing Show. We are always excited to have you to be with us. And we have a special piece for you today, being aware of the importance of mental health. We're going to talk about some things, not me really, but I have somebody that knows all about this stuff. I don't know too much of anything. I'm a jack of all trades and master of none, but we have with us today that's going to be sharing with us Kim Roundtree. Welcome to the Fresh Anointing Show, Kim. How are you?
I am well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good. Glad to have you with us on this great day. I hope you've been having a great day so far.
I have.
That's always wonderful. It's a good thing. Well, as we talk about this piece of supporting mental health agencies and making ourselves aware of mental health and why it's so important, why don't you just start out by telling us about your organization's impact and how did it all get started with you?
Well, about 15 years ago, I could start with the fact that I have been my bachelor's is in social work. And after I received my bachelor's, sometimes you get this thought that you want to cure the world, but you then realize you can't. So then I went and got my master's degree in marriage and family therapy from Oral Roberts University. And then I started working, right? And I worked in foster care. I worked in the prisons. I've worked in child protective services and the mental health field. And I'm originally from California. So I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. And here is where I figured out that mental health was my field that I liked working in. Mm-hmm. So I worked at a particular agency. I learned all of the things that I should not be doing. And so I said, well, if they're running their business like this, then I can do it and I can do a better job. So I started my company. And the company is the Solace Group. So we've been open 15 years. We just celebrated it on May last month, 15 years. My business partner, Monica Brown, we've been together that long, and we've been helping mental health facilities stay open, right? Teaching them how and what they can do to remain open. There's a lot of companies that wanted to expand. We've told them over and over again not to put all of their eggs in one basket. So if you're in North Carolina, how about going to another state other than North Carolina? You can open up in other states as well. And then not just provide one service, but how about providing another one, or another one, or 5 or 6? So so you're not dependent solely on Medicaid. You can also get other funding as well. So that's how it all started. And we've been doing that strong for 15 years. We've owned mental health facilities ourselves. Monica and I, we've owned them in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, New Roads, Louisiana, St. Francisville, Donaldsonville, all in Louisiana. And we've owned them in Atlanta as well. And then we took a break, and then we just did consulting. So that's where we are now, because it's hard to own your own company and not be in the same state. But yeah, so that's where we are now, and we're enjoying it.
Well, that's great. That's great. Now, I got a question for you. You're an entrepreneur. You started this from the ground up, and you've been doing this for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And as you look at being an entrepreneur and getting things together, when did it all just kind of start to gel? when you first start out, you are trying to
Oh.
put all the pieces together and,
Mhm.
trying to find, where is that niche? You had the vision,
Mhm.
you and your partner, you know what you wanted to do, but when you first start to moving in that business,
Mhm.
what year was it? First year, second, third year that you knew?
It was the third, I would say, the third
Okay,
year
okay.
we got in the swing of things. In the beginning, you're just trying to make money. You're saying yes to everything, right? Because you don't have any income, especially we were full time. So I didn't have this as my side gig. I wasn't working for anyone else. It was me and Monica this is it. So we had to make it work. So we were saying yes to everything. So then after you start creating, you know, the processes internally, and you start making more money, and then you start learning more in the field, you're then able to say, I don't want to work with this particular agency because they don't share the same values as we do. So we won't work with them. And then, year 2, 3, you're about there, about 3 years. Then we were able to have a waiting list and say, well, we can't work with you right now, but we'll work with you later on in within the year. So yeah, you make a lot of mistakes. You're going to make them all the time anyway, but we made a lot of them in the first, second year, I would say.
So let's go back to what you really the real focus is when we talk about creating a seamless process in the mental health business. Can you talk about that with us? Tell us, about that. How does
Mhm.
that all work?
So I'll give you an example. Since I live here in Charlotte and our business was in Louisiana, right? In order for the business to run effectively and efficiently, I had to make sure that our DNA was infused into the business. And
Mm,
in order to do that, you have to be present. And in order to do that, you have to travel. So I went there every week. Every week. I stayed there for 3 days for about 6 or 7 months. And what that did is it taught the people that were working for us, this is how Kim and Monica wants the company to be ran. Kim and Monica wouldn't want that to be. So we're not going to do it that way. But they wouldn't know that unless they spent time with us, unless they heard from our hearts, unless they knew what our overall value system was. Because I believe, and Monica believes, that we can make money and you can serve people at the same time. It doesn't have to be either or. It could be both and. So I can make money and serve the people correctly without them being the priority of making money. Like, when you see a person, I don't want to make that person a dollar sign. Though that person is a person,
right.
whether or not Medicaid pays us or not, that person is a person. So if we don't get paid for that person, how is it that I can help that person get what they need done? And that only comes from spending time with your staff that you employ, especially when you're not in the same city. So when you say the seamless processes, that comes by infusing your DNA into the company. So if you run a business of excellence, because you say you're an excellent person, or everything that you do is you do it to the extent that God would be pleased, all of that, then that has to show in a way. Like, they need to be able to see that. So when you come into our office, it's a welcoming office. The first person that you see will be nice. They won't be, because they're already coming in with mental health issues. So we don't need a person at the front desk with mental health issues. So we need someone that can calm things down. And then our staff, they need to be able to work with people with mental health issues. And some people who work in mental health have mental health issues. So making sure that they take care of themselves. As owners, we gave 3 days off for just if you just need a mental health day. You don't even need to tell us why. They would just call and say, "Hey, I need a mental health day," and we gave it to them. Now, could they lie? Yes, but that's whatever, But you get three because it starts from the top. If we believe mental health is important and we're actually providing mental health services, then we need to show that by the people that we employ. So I said that to say, yeah, it takes some time.
Yeah, yeah. Can you, and I want to clarify something because people sort of frown when we say health because we always think there's something drastically wrong with a person when you talk about mental health. But mental health is not that doesn't mean that you're off the wall or you're crazy or anything like that. It just simply means the well-being of your life. Can you talk to us a little bit and just help the listenership to understand?
Mental health. Yeah, we all have mental health, like you said. This is the thing. We all have mental health. If you are alive and breathing and walking and talking, you have mental health. Mental health, all it is how we think and live and respond to life situations. That's it. Some people need help in their response to the life situations.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if you need help, that's okay. Get help. Some people, people will say, well, just talk to somebody. Do you have anybody to talk to? Yeah, I mean, we all have people in our circle that we can talk to, but I'd rather pay someone to listen to what I have to say so I know it won't be repeated, right? So there's certain things that you can go to a professional about that you could go to your friends about it, but just to have peace of mind, go to somebody that does not know you, that does not really care, right. That you go to this particular church or that you're a Christian or that you're doing this. They don't care about that. They care about the reason why you're coming to get help, right? And so they're not judgmental. Some people are. And so, everybody deals with it. I've dealt with it. I'm an only child. My mother died in 2008, and I couldn't deal with it. Like literally, I couldn't deal with it. I was depressed to the point I wanted to kill myself. Mm-hmm. I had to get some help. I was depressed. I don't remember a whole year of my life because of that. Wow. And so until I got help, I didn't have to take the medicine for a long time because I'm not one that wants to do that. Not that it's anything wrong. I just don't want to do it. So I took it for about 3 to 4 months, I believe it was. And then I just got back out of it. I believe prayer works.
Oh, yeah.
And I also believe medicine works. So they can work together. Some things come out by prayer and fasting. I do believe that. And then some things come out by prayer, fasting, and medicine. And so that's just, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. But some things don't need medicine. Some things you just need to get on the altar and pray and do something, fast for 7 days, do something, right? But other times you need help. And so help is not a bad word.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because a lot of times we feel if we're asking for help, then people are going to look at us like we're this bad person or we don't have our stuff together. But like you said, like we're saying, is that everybody has that mental health challenges depending on what's going on in our life at that particular time. What I want to ask you is a follow-up question now when we talk about this mental health and I want to ask you, what are your thoughts of how does the church play a role in mental health as we look at the church, especially churches all over in different communities, and we have the propensity to overlook the personal side of the person. We look at the spiritual side. And we do a pretty good job with the spiritual side, but we're missing that emotional and mental personal side. How can the church play a role in helping people with mental health?
They can start by talking about it from the pulpit. They can start by being transparent themselves. Some pastors, some leaders have mental health issues themselves, but they don't want to tell anybody because they think they're going to lose the people. But you'll gain more people when you're more transparent. And so if you come to the church and you're the pastor and you're talking about it, then people are more likely to say, "Oh my gosh, well, if he's dealing with it, then I'm not that bad. I'm dealing with it too." So then, as a pastor or a leader, giving them resources, you can create, there's resources in every city. You can Google it. Mental health resources is handbooks. You can have handbooks there readily available for your members to pick up, or you can put the link on your website if you have mental health challenges. It's not a matter of if you have mental health challenges, it's when you have mental health challenges. Everybody who was here during COVID, they have mental health. I'm telling you, there's no way you could be quarantined for the amount of time that we were quarantined and not have some effects of it. So, there's still people affected from it. Like for me, I don't like going outside. Like, I mean, I'm an introvert. I know when people see me on social media, they think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I have to gear myself up to get to that way. And then afterwards, I'm depleted. I got to take a nap, So, but there's people who will feel better when more people in the church are transparent enough to tell them that they have issues as well. So if as simple as a pastor saying, "You know what, during quarantine, man, I felt alone. I felt like there was no one that I can talk to, even in the room of people in my house. And now I need to talk to somebody." Just that simple. Just that will help people in the congregation realize, hey, I can get some help. But then taking it a step further, if someone comes to you as a pastor or a leader and they're talking to you about their issues, you can refer them if you can't help them. All pastors, in my opinion, ought not counsel. All of them should not. There's some that just should preach. But there's some people, who think they can do it all, and they cannot. So if you can't help them, refer them out. That's how the church can help.
Yeah, that's one of my things. I say this all the time is I believe that the church should have someone with the expertise within their congregation that would be willing to volunteer their services to people that are in the church
Mhm.
to help. And again, I just want to re-emphasize what we're saying. Mental health is not bad. That's just normal life. That's just part of life. And as you say, I like what you said about your organization. You give your people 3 days
Mhm.
to take a mental health because sometimes you just need that break. You need to just
Yes.
you need kind of push back. I'm just going to take this day. I'm going to have some me time. I'm going to
Yep.
unwind. And that's so important because I teach a class leading on empty. And
Yeah.
yes,
That'll preach right there, leading on empty.
because what we do, and especially as pastors, and leaders in the church, and entrepreneurs as well, we work, 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 and we
Yeah.
never take a break. We never have downtime, and we never rejuvenate or
Yeah.
how do
Mm.
you say it? Re-energize ourselves, or
Yeah.
as Wayne Cadero talks about, you got to be able to fill your tank. You have
Yeah.
to do things that fill your tank. What is it that fills your tank? Because the things that we do most of the time empties our tank. It's just like driving a car. If you drive a car for so many miles, it's going to go empty.
Hmm.
If you don't put gas in it or fuel it up, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. The same thing with our bodies. If we do not learn how to take those mental health days, take
Mhm.
breaks, and I talk with pastors all the time, and I tell them we need to have a sabbatical. Every week, you need a sabbatical. You need a day. God created the world in
And he
six
took one.
days, and on the seventh day, He did what?
Yeah,
He
he
rested.
rested. Yeah,
So the
yeah.
same thing with us. We think that we're superhuman, and I'm just talking. I'm not bashing anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying that we need to learn how to take those mental health days, and I think they're so very important.
It is important. It is. It is. And you will not be any less of a Christian
Right.
if you did.
Absolutely right. So
Yeah, the
let's go
church will
back.
not fall.
Let's go back to your entrepreneur journey. You have people out there that are entrepreneurs, and especially feel that we're talking about in mental health. What would you tell that new business owner, or just that business owner, period, about mental health facilities?
So if we were talking, if I was we're talking to someone who came to me and said, "Hey, I want to open up a mental health facility." Well, actually, that's happened a lot of times. And my first question to them was, "Do you have any experience in mental health? Not that you have had mental health challenges, but have you had any experience knowing how to run an office that's mental health, or did you work in a mental health capacity at a company? Like, what makes you want to open up mental health facility?" And the reason I ask that question is because I don't want to work with anyone that their sole reason is to make money, because you can make money doing a whole lot of other things and not uh, mess with people's lives like that, right?
Mhm.
So while you're learning how to be a business owner, so you can learn how to be a business owner doing something else other than mental health. Because what happens is it's hard in opening a mental health facility itself. We've done it, and it takes more than a notion, right? So I tell someone, if they want to be a mental health owner, just do a little bit of research, maybe go visit some companies that are ran in their city, talk to the CEO or whoever will talk to you, and they will talk to you. People just don't ask, right? Um, uh, Ask them what their greatest challenge is, and then ask them how they deal with that greatest challenge, and then sit on it for a minute, whatever that minute is. Sit on it, think about it, see if it's something that you want to do, if you want to put your foot in, because it's not just a foot, it's a whole, like your whole self would need to be a part of opening one up. And then surround yourself with people who don't know how to do what you know how to do.
Mhm.
So if you're good at marketing, that's great. That's great. But there's a whole lot of other things you need to do when you open up a business in and of itself, let alone a mental health business. So surround yourself with people who don't know how to do what you know how to do so that you can get the work done. Some people want to keep all of the percentage. Let me say it again. So there's only 100%. Some people want to keep all of the 100% and then lose on the back end.
Mhm.
I would tell people to partner with people. It's better to have 40% of 100% than 0% of nothing, because your business closes. So you might stay open a year, but that's it, because you don't know how to run a business, or you don't have help, or you don't have this. So now you have 0%. So if you get somebody to help you, take a lower percentage and share it. That's what other people in other nationalities do. So
Mhm.
if we follow suit, we'll all make money. You can make money in it.
Good,
Yep.
good. Uh, Last question for you today, and really thank you so much for being a part of the Fresh Anointing Show. We're talking with Kim Roundtree, entrepreneur, been in this thing for 15 years. I give God the praise for you and your partner as you continue this journey, and that you help us to understand that being an entrepreneur, it is something that can be done if we do it the right way, as you just finished explaining to
Yeah.
us. Uh, question, since we're talking about mental health, why is it so important for us to be aware of mental health, and also and especially this is a kind of like a B part of the question of how churches, so important for churches to be aware of mental health agencies around in their community?
Mhm. So for us, as individuals, we need to know about our own mental health. We need to take stock and ask questions to ourselves about our own mental health before we do anything else, right? So check in with yourself. My mother used to tell me, if you want to talk to someone as smart as they are, then talk to yourself, but just don't answer. That's what she would tell me. And I was like, don't answer. but but talk to yourself, ask yourself, check in with your emotions, check in with how you're feeling the day. And then if you feel some kind of angst in it, in your response, then get some help. Then if you're talking about the church, it's important not only to focus on the spiritual needs of a person, but also the mental needs of a person. A person is not all spiritual. I mean, there's different facets of our lives that we live, right? People go through things, people go through seasons, and seasons change. And sometimes people's emotions change through those seasons. And then when we don't pay attention to the people in our church, what happens is then we become surprised when something happens. Like, I didn't even know that she was feeling that way. I didn't even know she was depressed. She should have told somebody. Mm-hmm. No, no, there's some onus on us as believers to check in with our brothers, to check in with our sisters, to see how they're doing. And it's not enough just to go to church and sit down next to somebody and then say bye after you say hi, right? So a part of that is collaborating and talking to the people in your church and getting to know them, so you'll know when their behavior changes, where something is wrong. I can't put my finger on it. Something's wrong with Mary. Maybe I should call her and check her out. Or maybe I should send her a text, or maybe I should check her out on Facebook, or whatever it is. You won't know until you get to know the person a little bit that something's going on. So church is more than, for me, church is more than just coming to hear the word. It's the community of it. And if you become a part of the community, that means you love the person. And if you love the person, love is an action word, so you'll show it. And that's all I think it is.
That's so just good. It's a good word. Let me say it like that. It's a good word. I couldn't find the word.
Thank you.
But that's really, really good. Now, how can people get in contact with you if someone wanted to touch bases with you?
Oh yeah. So my cell number, I've had my cell phone number for 20 years, the same number. It's 704-400-5850, 704-400-5850. And they can just call or text me. They can find me on Facebook, Kim Roundtree. If you put me up in Facebook, you'll see it. It'll pop up. And follow me. I'm more on Facebook than Instagram. Instagram gets on my nerves. I can't do it. But Facebook I can do. Yeah.
Well, good. It's been great having you on. I think we got some great spiritual nuggets from you, and helping us to understand a little bit more about mental health. Make sure we take those mental health days.
Yes.
Family, thanks for joining us. We've been talking with Kim Roundtree, entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur that I might say. And we appreciate you, Kim, and maybe we'll get you back here with us in the near future to talk some more about these things that we can help our community.
Yes,
well,
indeed.
family, once again, we thank you for being a part of us. Until next time, may the Lord bless you real good.
That's going to wrap it up for the Fresh Anointing Show with Jay Richardson. Just remember this: the Lord is the strength of your life. Whom shall you fear? Keep looking up. Until next time.